Hello. So here we are on the solstice, or at least a couple of days before the solstice. And I'm a bit late going live because I suddenly had a huge sugar drop and a bit of an anxiety kind of sensation. So I'm just checking to see how everyone is first today. So guys, how are you all feeling? It's been I know as Ascension is moving on, we're getting more sensitive, but equally there's this feeling that the energy is stronger as well. So I don't know if it's because it's stronger or if it's because, in fact, let me check. So is the energy stronger? No, is it just, yeah, so it's just different. We're just getting this energy feeling that it's a lot different than what we're used to. And that's why our bodies are kind of feeling this. So for me, it was in my nervous system. I was feeling quite shaky. I was feeling quite like my sugar felt like it dropped. So I had to go grab something to eat quickly. So that's what I've been feeling the last few days. And I just thought it was me being a bit off, but I've spoken to some other people and they're starting to say they feel the same. So, let's just all breathe, I think, for the moment. Let's just breathe that energy in and try and bring our nervous system back into relaxation state. So yeah, so Marta's saying she was feeling quite sluggish today. Yeah, I was just feeling this kind of like it's in the heart. I can always feel it in the heart and the shakiness of the nervous system. That's why I kind of feel it, I guess. So welcome to this edition of the Solstice Quantum Human Revelations. And each week I want to talk to you about the new energies that are coming in with Ascension and how that can impact us on a soul level. So I'm a soul guide and I aim to help people connect to their desires of the soul and to step off the sideline and start stepping into the light. And for me, that light is a mixture of logic, reason, 5D skills, energy sensing skills, all blending together to create a new type of human, which I'm calling the quantum human. So it's us stepping into this more empowered sovereign self. And I think a lot of logical people, because I'm quite logical as well, are now coming online and starting to notice that they have these gifts, these abilities to sense energy, which is fantastic, but they might not know what to do with it, just like I didn't when I started. So every Monday I come on to try and share some of my experiences, some of the energies that I'm sensing, so you guys can tune in too and see if it's relevant for you. So it's not just about the words that I talk and speak, it's about the energy that I'm trying to share with you at the same time. So I am transmitting energy and I'm trying to put it into words because I am that bridge between the two worlds to try and help you see if you can sense it too. Because if you can sense it, then of course it's going to be fabulous because then you can start working with it. So I think most of us have access to sensing energy skills. You know, some of us call ourselves intuitive, some of us call ourselves empaths, but it's really the same set of skills. It's just that some of us have developed them a lot more into being more clairsentient or connecting to frequencies and being able to talk about them. A lot of people can connect to them, but can't even speak about them. And they use light language to communicate them. So there's lots of different ways that we can use these powers. So that's why I thought we'd get together every Monday and think of this time as 30 minutes. So you have 30 minutes for you to sit, relax, think about the energies, connect to who you are on a soul level, bring that soul awareness in, and then find out what you're here to do. What are you here on this planet at this time to be? Now, I feel like a lot of us are awakening to this quantum human template. And last week I spoke about, I think I gave about 20-ish questions on what I thought would be like little indicators to those just beginning this journey of awakening into this ascension energy, into this new quantum human. So this week I thought I'd continue that story and explain the kind of steps. Once you've started awakening, what next? You know, that must have been the end of last week, was like, what next? What do we do now we know that we've got some of these abilities? So hopefully that's going to be interesting for you all. So I'm just going to check that I've got my comments all up. Yes, I have. So I'm Trudy, and my pages are White Star Soul Guidance. And I also have one called More Than a Dance because I teach body movement to help integrate more of our soul as well. I sort of see Ascension as a multi-dimensional, multi-talented, multi-aspect kind of process. So I try to work with the logic and the spiritual and the dance and the higher dimensional energy and bring it all together. And that's what we're here and what I call as my heaven on earth mission. So today, let's just tune in today and see how we're all feeling with these energies. So summer solstice is a time when the energies, the veil is kind of thinner, and more people start feeling the kind of energetic frequencies that are surrounding us at this time. So the first energetic frequency some of us as quantum humans might already connect with is the moon, We might already sense when it's a full moon and feel a little bit off, especially if you're female, because we have periods which kind of link into that kind of cycle of the moon. So we start sensing into that. But generally, we just start noticing maybe people act a little crazy around the full moon, or we get sleepless nights, or we feel a bit agitated. So that might be the first time you notice this. But then once you get a little bit more tuned in and start feeling these energies, you might notice that the equinoxes, the solstices, which are part of the natural rhythm clock, you know, of the world and of nature, you start noticing different energies at that time too. And then when you're ready to go into the next phase again, then you start noticing more galactic cosmic energies. And some of those that are coming up will be the Sirius gateway that's coming up on 7/7, and then the Lion gateway on 8/8. So there are 2 periods of time when we're getting more connected to our spiritual sun, which is Sirius. And the Egyptians used to worship the star Sirius because it used to tell them when the Nile was going to flood. So it was kind of a historically old clock. It's an old clock. Yeah, they used to know that it was time to worry about the floods coming, not to worry, but to use the water to nurture their plants when they saw Sirius at a certain point. And it's even believed that some of the pyramids are aligned with Sirius as well. So it's not just a modern day concept. This is something that's been used in lots of aspects before, this planetary awareness. So Miranda's saying, yes, definitely notice how stuff shifts around the moon cycle. Yeah. So as you get more in tune, you start also noticing the other planets. You know, there's a lot of planets up there. And if we wondered which planets have been bothering us the most during this last few years, it's Pluto. Pluto's been giving us a lot of energy. And I'm not an astrologer, so I don't look at the astrological charts. I feel like I just sense the energies of the planets, and they kind of give me a feeling of a frequency, and that's how I work with the energy. So I got a message from Pluto in the end of 2019 that said the world was going to tip upside down, but I didn't believe it at the time. I couldn't see how it could be so drastic. And then obviously 2020 arrived. So I started paying more attention to these messages and trying to source where they were coming from to get a feeling. So as a quantum human, the first thing to start noticing is, do you notice in your life that there are times where great change happens more than other times? Like, does it happen around your birthday? Does it happen around a specific month or a certain season? Have you noticed your natural rhythms of how you live and breathe, and how your change cycle, like when you change jobs, when you have problems or challenges and things like that? So this is us starting to connect now to our energy sensing skills. And there's so many more exciting ones to tap into, but that's the first point we want to think about. So Jenny's saying, yes, March is when things change, new jobs, etc. You know, we could argue it's springtime and we think, but that's still a natural cycle in itself. You know, it's still a solar alignment when spring and summer and autumn all occur. It's all still a galactic alignment to make all of this happen. So when we start awakening to who we are as a quantum human, we start maybe noticing the moon cycles or the changes in our natural lives as to how things are working out for us. Then we start going a bit deeper. Maybe we start looking at what are our challenges? Why are we not succeeding in certain areas? And we start this self-discovery process, but not on a psychological level. We start now looking at it from a soul level. And we start going in and asking the soul questions of what we're here to do. Why am I here? What is the purpose of what's happening to me now? Why am I having this experience? What is it trying to teach me? Now, this is kind of like the messy part of self-discovery when we start going into the mess. But often what I find is we have a message hidden amongst all that mess. It's a marketing phrase that they use for make your mess your message for your businesses. But I think it's also a very good phrase for self-development, because what I'm finding is that what we thought was attacks or challenges or bad luck might actually be points at which we are trying to remember either some skill that we've forgotten or some talent or memory that we need to remember just on a galactic level. Hence why I said last week, you know, if you've got this kind of sudden knowing or this sudden awareness of a topic that maybe you haven't learned, this could be an example of this energy coming in then to show you that you've got this connection to something bigger. And it may show up in dream time, or it might just be these sudden knowings. So there's 2 ways that can suddenly start appearing. And what we try to do when we're working with our mess is we try to make it conscious. We have two choices. We can either kind of sit and wait for the spanner to be thrown in and then deal with the mess, Or we can sit down and start asking the questions like, what's going to happen this month? What energies are coming in? What can I do to prepare for it? And be more proactive. And again, that's more the quantum human advanced stage that we want to get to. So we got the stages from not aware, starting to become aware that there's some meaning in what's happening, starting to notice a pattern, and then starting to proactively work to kind of accept the lesson before all the pain snowballs into a problem for us. So that's like another example. Okay. So we got Miranda. She says, I've always wondered what my purpose is during this life. I do know that I have gifts, but not sure how to awaken them. Yeah, I'll sort them out. This is exactly what's happening to a lot of people right now. And it's becoming more urgent that we understand what our purpose is. And like I said, you'll find a lot of clues in your mess, all the things you've experienced in life, all the challenges, what people come and ask you about. All these things will give you these little clues as to why you're here with your unique frequency right now. So one of the other natural kind of rhythms is that your soul knows when you're ready for what lessons at what time. It doesn't want to throw you in the deep end and have you struggle. So once you've dealt with one issue, it then snowballs into another issue and then another and another. And the soul kind of guides you through this process so you get this gradual learning experience. Well, Ascension is a kind of fast track version of this. So I wanted to be able to separate out spiritual practices and Ascension as two different concepts. Spiritual practices are things like mindfulness, meditation, maybe doing past life regression, Reiki, things like that. Ascension is kind of trying to get us to nudge us back to a new frequency, or to get us more authentic, but also to upgrade that version of us into a enhanced version. So it's not just about going back to being authentic. It's also trying to give us new tools, new skills, new possibilities at the same time. So Ascension for me is more like the cutting edge of spirituality. It's trying to encourage us to be more visionary, to redefine some of our spiritual practices based on our own frequency and our own energy and what we're learning about the cosmos and the universe, and integrating that into what we do. So it's sort of like spiritual practices can be a bit of a, here's a book, now go learn it and do it. Ascension is, here's a bunch of frequencies, what are you going to do? Now it's you to use all of your resources to be able to create that and birth it into something new for you. And these Ascension waves have been getting faster and faster and stronger and stronger. And like I said, now we're here at Solstice and we've got another big wave coming in. So I asked everybody at the beginning, how are they all feeling? What's coming up for them right now? And I said that I've been feeling quite anxious today, and my blood sugars have been all over the place. My nervous system's been off. And these are all the physical body struggling with Ascension symptoms and receiving the energies that are coming in. So I had to grab quite a bit of protein to try and get my body to calm and bring my energy into my body, bring my nervous system back into balance, just to be able to get through these next few days. So don't think you're weak or that there's something wrong with you if you're struggling at certain times of the year with energies like this. This is just a natural part of us upgrading our bodies and evolving physically into the type of human that can now handle these new solar flares, galactic frequencies that are coming onto the earth right now. Because, you know, the earth is changing too. There's new atoms and subatoms being created, you know, the man-made and natural are all kind of moving around us all the time. So our bodies are being exposed to quite a lot of physical triggers. Is that, yeah, let's call them physical triggers that are causing our bodies to change and to adapt and to grow into something that our bodies need to survive on the planet in the current state. So if you're noticing any of these symptoms, let me know in the comments, and let's see what everybody's feeling right now. So I'd like to also mention that as well as the physical and the new skills, our purpose and missions are all changing as well. So that'll give you something to think about. If you thought you knew what your purpose was and you've been feeling a bit lost recently, that's also part of the Ascension process, because it wants you to go bigger. It wants you to get off that sideline and really glow in your fullness of who you are. So it's going to kind of start stirring things up a little to kind of nudge you onto the center stage. So how are we all doing? So if we're all okay, let's go into the soul vision part of this solstice energy. So what I've noticed is that, so hard to put this into words. I can feel it and I'm just trying to tune into it. So let's see. It is a grief, a very deep grief, or kind of like, yeah, so Marta said redefining and Jenny said sad. Yeah, I'd go along with them. It does feel very, it's not quite sad. It is a kind of letting go, because a couple of weeks ago I mentioned we had quite a soft energy come in. And I must admit, usually now I think when a soft energy comes, I think, the next one's going to be a bit intense, because it's kind of like giving us a little bit of softness, ready to prepare for something a bit bigger and heavier that's going to come next. So I'm not surprised that the solstice is feeling the way it is. But there is a what next kind of feeling, like I don't know what next. And that kind of leaves us feeling a bit lost and not sure what we're supposed to do next. And even though it feels like our mission and vision have all changed, if you've been doing the work and keeping up with adapting that as the energies have changed, then it might not be as drastic as it feels. But imagine that you're plugged in and that each time one of these waves come, it disconnects you. Then at that moment, you feel like you're loose, you feel like you haven't got any connections, you don't know what's going on until you replug back in again. And getting used to balancing that, it's not even empty, because there's stuff still going on and you're still changing, but you can't put words to it so easily and you can't connect into it so easily. Then sitting in that space is, again, one of the skills we need as quantum humans, because if we really are going to ride this wave of ascension, there are going to be lots of moments of this uncomfortable state where we're not quite sure what we're feeling or how to put it into words. So it's not like a super high feeling. It is a very uncomfortable, grieving, just like you're sighing all the time and feeling like, I don't understand, or I don't know, or what next? That kind of energy. Does that make sense? Yeah, so Jenny's saying she saw the soft energy we spoke about as candy floss pink clouds in a meditation today. Yeah, so that's there in the background trying to support us, so we can still connect to that. So what I've been saying to people that are having these kind of traumatic energetic shifts right now, and it's showing up in the 3D and the physical world, very much like relationship breakdowns, maybe arguments at work or issues with money. It's showing up, in the real world as issues and challenges. But just keep focusing on what you want to become. Every time you feel a little bit of despair or not quite sure where to go next, just focus on what you want to become, what you want your life to be. And then just bring that image into your mind and make it as strong as possible, and bring that energy all the way down into your body as strong as possible. And that's your anchor. That's your anchor through all of these frequencies right now. And if we can do that, then at least we can see like a way through it. Even if we can't speed it up or change it, we can at least see there's a path through all of this, because there is a meaning and a divine plan behind all of this, even if we don't understand it necessarily. So yeah, funny enough, I was exactly the same, Jenny. So I have chronic fatigue as well, and it's been quite bad the last couple of days. I feel like really heavy and not able to move as well. And Jenny just said that she thought her CFS was playing up, but she could see how it's kind of going up and down and moving around as well. And that's what I've been noticing, is I feel a lot better today than I did the last 2 days. But it's that unpredictability of the whole thing that's hard to judge at the moment. So if you're feeling a bit rough, again, just give yourself some space to rest, allow these energies to flow, keep focusing on a vision of something better that you want in your life, and use that as your anchor to keep moving forward. So that's what I recommend for the soul vision. Then one of the other things that I do for people is, and I never planned on doing this, this is just something that came up. So it seems like when you work with me, and you might be extremely logical, and you come maybe to sort out some confidence or some practical work issues, I seem to see this kind of, let's just call it magic for the moment. There's this little spark of magic that's behind every person I speak to. And it's quite beautiful when I see it. And it's usually something energetic that person is very good at doing. Now, obviously, we've been to school. We don't learn about energy at school. We don't learn about energy anywhere unless you decide you want to become a healer, and then you might start learning about energy. But this energy that I'm seeing with people is almost like they're meant to birth it into their work of normal work. And again, that's what I said last week about a quantum human. Things that I'm talking about are not meant for us to become healers. We're not learning energy so we can go and heal other people. The sparks of energy awareness and skills that I'm seeing behind people are coming through in art, in music, in building things, in being in a corporation and sharing that frequency with your team. It's coming through in lots of different ways. But there is this hidden spark behind. And I can be talking to somebody quite normally and I get like little tiny glimpses of this. Well, this last week, suddenly a few big aha moments have come flying in for some people, where we kind of knew it was something to do with, say, for example, time and energy, but we didn't know what. And then suddenly this week I've had this real clear, like, that's what this means. So to me, what that represents as a solstice energy is that we are getting a kind of energetic vision of what we're here to do. But if you're not used to reading energy or looking at what energy means, you might not recognize what this is right now. So if any of you guys have got this, then please get in touch. Let's see if we can help you get that sorted, because this is kind of like the cherry on your cake. If you can turn this light on and if you can learn to master this is what's going to make your life kind of turn around. You'll kind of fall into your place in the divine plan, and you'll just think, that's why I'm here. That's what I'm supposed to do. And the better thing about all this is you'll then say, I've been doing this all along and I didn't even realize it. And you hadn't been valuing it because it's so easy and so natural to you. You really didn't see it for what it is. But when you do, and you then make that part of your work and you know your value because of how powerful this is, it kind of changes you from feeling insignificant to just feeling very grounded and empowered and focused. And it's like I've always said, don't focus on your problems you're trying to fix. Focus on the vision. Pain pushes until vision pulls. So focus on the vision to pull you forward. And that's what this magic ingredient behind the scenes is giving you, is that vision to pull. And if you can connect into that, then lots of other things fall into place. Lots of other problems just disappear by turning this on. So that's the kind of energies that I'm feeling. So it's kind of like accelerated. There's some new, really fabulous 5D or higher dimensional talents coming online. And it's super fun for me because, like, we're in uncharted territory. I don't even think we've got these written down anywhere, what sort of talents of energies we've got. We've got a few like healing modalities and crystals and things like that. But these are kind of, these are different. These are all new and exciting, and see how we can all birth these down onto the earth as, again, part of these quantum human templates that we're activating. So if that sounds exciting to you, what do you think, guys? Now, I know some of the people here on Zoom with me are already working with me on their 5D missions and their 5D visions. And so if you guys can actually put a comment on, let me know if, I'm just letting somebody into Zoom, make sure the camera doesn't pop on. Cool, there we are. No sudden appearance out loud, that's cool. So guys, let me know if you feel, give me some words then on how it feels when you connect to this 5D vision. So I can share with others. So yeah, so Marta's saying, always exciting, what level is next? And it's a bit like a treasure hunt. It's the kind of like, you find one bit and you think that's amazing. Then you find the next bit and that's amazing. And you're so busy unwrapping these little energetic gifts that you have, that you're not even thinking about the future as such. You're really focused on how to make this work in the now, and learning new abilities to play with energies in your everyday work. Yeah, a crazy clue comes up that will fit in the puzzle. Exactly. It's this, it kind of gives meaning to your life. And I say, I'm very logical, so I can imagine how this sounds to anybody logical listening to this, and what does it mean to have a 5D skill that suddenly gives you meaning to your life. But when it happens, then you'll know it. So pay attention for any unusual fifth dimensional kind of energetic skills that in your dream time, the easiest way I can relate it to, I guess, is, I'm sure many of us have watched witch programs or Harry Potter or magic type stuff. Then that's actually a good language to use when you're working with energy. So use it. You know, don't feel ridiculous for talking about stuff in that kind of context, because that is the only language we have to describe some of this stuff. Like, how do I get my downloads? How do I know what's wrong with somebody before they even tell me? There's no English words to express how I do that. But I sense the energy, I feel it, and I can tell when somebody's aligned with their soul mission, and when they're aligned with their bigger visions, and when they're only aligned with what their parents told them to do or what society expected from them. I can feel all that. How? Why? I'm sure one day science will catch up and it'll tell us exactly how this happens. But I also know that these skills can be lost as easily as they're gained. So I honor it and cherish it for what I am able to do today. And when the time comes and maybe I can't do this anymore, then I will be grateful that I was able to help the people I was. Because for me, it feels like I'm talking to people's souls to help them connect to this quantum human template. And that process to me is awakening the next generation of leaders, of visionaries and pioneers to be quirky and weird. And I was sitting, I think it was just in the week, writing some stuff for my membership. And I suddenly thought, if all of the quirky, weird dreams that we had suddenly came online, can you imagine what this world would be like? That we all finally took our place central stage and became our authentic but quirky, energetic self. It would kind of fill in all the gaps. And all the times we try to fit in and not express our true selves, we're actually breaking the divine plan, because we were all made exactly as we were meant to be to fit into all these slots. So if we're trying to be a blue corner piece of the jigsaw, there's already a blue corner piece. That wasn't your role. That means there's a gap somewhere where you are meant to be. And that's what Ascension for me is about. And that's what the solstice is almost like squeezing us now to start to recognize and to understand. And if you're feeling that squeezing, if you didn't hear me earlier, I'm saying focus on the vision of who you want to be during these squeezing moments, so that you can have a focus for how to get through this solstice energy this next couple of days. So solstice is on Wednesday, it's the 21st, and I'll be down in Avebury. I'm going to go take Marta down to Avebury. We're going to go down and sense the energies there. And if you guys are new to energy, then why not do like a little ritual? Just sort of set some time aside, create an altar, maybe with a candle. You know, the candles are just, we like fire, don't we? So let's pretty candle, a pretty crystal, just tune in to something pretty and beautiful, and then just sit with that energy. And then just allow your soul to start whispering to you. You know, you can ask it by saying, you know, I'm ready, I'm willing to hear. And don't get upset if you don't hear anything initially, you know, give it time, keep practicing, and allow that energy to start coming up. And then start noticing when you have your challenges and the mess, what is it trying to teach you? And start journaling all this. Now, by the time you finish doing that, you'll have this huge book of comments and mismatched kind of information, but it will all make sense eventually. Just keep writing it down, because this is how we start the channel to open for everybody. You don't have to be a healer or a psychic to do this. For everybody, just start that channel opening and start documenting what comes through, and you'll start seeing that you'll begin to understand a little bit more about your soul and what it wants you to know right now, and what we all are trying to grow into, this great vision for this solstice too. So thank you very much for joining me. I started a bit late, so I'm going to finish now. And I hope you guys have a fabulous solstice, and you can always drop comments at the bottom of the video so I can see what you're all up to. I do chat with some interesting people on here. Charles is one of my favorite. He always leaves me really detailed, beautiful. He writes so beautifully. Now that's his soul whispers. I just wish that he could channel that in some other ways so other people could appreciate it and enjoy it too. But there's a couple of other people I've started meeting on here as well. So yeah, come on. I'd like to meet more. Let's find more of us quantum humans who are ready to become something different and something bigger, and start stepping out onto the stage and showing the world what our crazy ideas could do to create a new Earth. So thank you guys. I'm going to say goodbye now. I'm going to join those that are on Zoom with me and have a private chat. So those on Zoom, don't leave. I'm just going to say goodbye to the YouTube. And think of some questions that you might want to ask me about what I've shared today, or if you've got any other questions, I'll answer those now. All right, bye to you on YouTube.